Welcome to Luxury in Black, where Black creativity meets luxury, culture, and conversation. I'm your host, Shari Tisdale, and each week we'll spotlight the boldest voices in fashion, design, and entrepreneurship. From local legends to global trailblazers, this is more than a podcast. It's a movement. It's about elevating Black excellence, one story at a time. Join us each Thursday at 12 p.m. on Podbean.com and all streaming platforms. Let's get into it. Welcome to Luxury in Black. I'm your host, Shari Tisdale. As always, so excited to chat with you this afternoon. So much going on, so much to celebrate. I am still glowing and just relishing in such a phenomenal event with the Met Gala. It was everything, and we're going to be talking about it. But if this is your first time tuning in to Luxury in Black, I want to first thank you for tuning in with us today. We are a dedicated platform designed to celebrate and amplify the voices of Black designers and creators. We believe in promoting Black excellence in our everyday lives, and our goal is to keep a continuous conversation going on what living in Black luxury is, what we stand for. The Met Gala gave us everything. And just so excited to recap. If you follow us on social media, we have been with Luxury in Black on all of our socials. You have been seeing us showcasing the images of just incredible designs that the creators were absolutely rocking and showcasing on the red carpet on this major fashion event for 2025. Well, first want to kick off with the Met Gala. It was truly Black excellence taking center stage. We had our co-chairs of this year's event with Anna Wintour, which is from Vogue, who is Vogue. So, we just want to put it out there, who orchestrates and puts this entire event together. But her co-chairs this year were Coleman Domingo, Pharrell Williams, A$AP Rocky, who, if you were following the pages, you've heard me talk about it, picking up your Vogue issue. This past May issue is flawless, and it is giving you everything. And so just totally excited about what is happening in the industry as a whole. Well, if you're not familiar with what dandyism is and what superfine tailoring means, it is Black style. It is fashion that is exuding the legacy of Black craftsmanship, the redefinition of luxury in the fashion industry, utilizing Black creativity. And this year, our Black designers were on fire. They lit up the moment. It was truly a moment that we're all just inhaling and celebrating. We had designers like LaQuan Smith, Sergio Hudson, Hanifa, Wells Bonner, Turchet, and of course the fashion legend Dapper Dan, who was showcasing pieces that married bringing together heritage, innovation, and proving that Black design is not a trend. It is truly timeless. And if you were following any of the socials, if you were watching the Met, if you weren't familiar who was rocking what, our girl who was the it girl always, Ciara, was rocking LaQuan Smith. She had on a beautiful crystal drip design that had, every inch of her curves. Precision is definitely power. he showed a master class on bringing sensuality. Another rock star that is always, always flawless and timeless on the red carpets. Halle Berry was also rocking one of LaQuan Smith's designs. And then we had Wells Bonner, who Lewis Hamilton was wearing her designs, which was a nod to Black dandyism. She gave precision without with just detail magnified. Her clothing tells stories. She loves to tell a story with her clothing and her seams and her buttons, and his entire fit was flawless. It was elegance without a lot of noise. I love that. And then we had our Olympian superstar, Simone Biles, was rocking Charles Harbison, a phenomenal designer, with her bold shoulder cape. The electric blue was absolutely popping. The whole outfit insinuated every part of her body that is absolutely, we know, is flawless. Her look definitely earned major spotlight. She looked amazing. And then Hannafah, who I've talked about before, Savannah James was rocking her designs, very tailored. She was giving all of Harlem in that outfit with the pinstripe, which was absolutely, the detail was exquisite, the look was flawless, and every stitch was perfection. The night was amazing. We also had Touré. I don't want to forget her. She is a rising star, and Kendall Jenner was wearing her look, which was a razor sharp, tailored gray ensemble that was very powerful, restrained, but very, very intentional. Exuded everything about Black creativity, Black strength, and our dominance in the marketplace. Vogue, it was such a moment this with the Met Gala, and it, I don't like talking about crazy and negativity, but what I love most is the significance of the empowerment that took place. It overshadowed all of the noise that was trying to surface on why dandyism, why are we celebrating Black style? What does that have to do? Kind of tying in with the Met's history and fashion. Well, if we're going to be clear about what we're doing, there would be no style if it wasn't for dandyism. And if you really research and go back, our presence has been in front of and in the leading the game for decades. And it was just so incredible. I want to applaud Anna Wintour for standing 10 toes down and staying with the mission, staying on course, and presenting, which was absolutely flawless. And on top of that, to celebrate and note, it was one of the highest, because it is a fundraiser. The Met Gala, this event is to raise funds for preservation of fashion and art and the emergence of both together. And it raised over $30 million. It's one of the highest high event that took place, that's happened, and it took place on this platform. So we are excited to celebrate that and talk about that. It is so exciting for me, for everything that I stand for and do, to see Black creators stand on a global platform of this magnitude and be celebrated and featured, and really seeing the shift and the signals, seeing broader global recognition on the Black style narrative. We would be remiss if we did not mention, because it really did honor, and it gives goosebumps when I think, because his presence was noted and felt throughout. You saw it in Coleman Domingo in his cape. Tyler Perry honored him and his cape, and there were several with the draping of the cape, paying homage to the late Andre Leontali, who was with Anna Wintour. The Met Gala was an event that he truly was always, always a part of. And so it was exciting to see him get the recognition that he definitely deserves and to be applauded. As you know, cultural and storytelling through fashion, every look was giving all the moments. It was a statement of identity, resistance, history, and vision. And Black fashion was definitely represented. So we want to give big hats off to this year's Met Gala for it being all of the moments. It is still the buzz through all of the social feeds. So if you missed anything, go back and take a look because it is definitely giving you all the major moments. And I'm going to be coming back with, I'm so excited. I jumped right into the Met Gala, but we'll be having on our guest today is phenomenal fashion photographer and videographer, Torrey Purvey out of Oklahoma City. He has done so many and amazing things. We've worked together over many years. We were actually recapping. I can't believe it's been over 10 years, but to watch his journey and his career is very riveting. So I'm looking forward to him joining us, to sharing his story and his journey, as well as we kind of recap a little bit from the event at the Met Gala and talk to him from a perspective because he is all about the visuals and he definitely knows how to display them. So I want you to stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we will have Torrey on the line and we'll keep the conversation going. At Rubicon, we believe every meal should be an experience. Nestled in the heart of North Tulsa, we bring you bold flavors, locally sourced ingredients, and a dining atmosphere like no other. From our signature dishes to expert crafted cocktails, every bite tells a story, perfect for any occasion. Live music on Thursdays with house band Upscale Smoke. Rubicon is not just another smokehouse, it's a whole vibe. Join us at Rubicon, where taste meets tradition. Rubicon Restaurant, the Upscale Smoke experience. And we're back, and we are excited to have with us the amazing Torrey Purvey. As I said, he is an incredible fashion photographer, sports photographer. He's a Renaissance man educator, so he's doing all the things, giving us all the feels. So welcome, Torrey. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am doing fantastic. Well, I know you are a man that's about his business, and actually you're currently on the road doing your thing, right?
Yes, I am actually. I'm doing some work for Grammy Award winner JB. He's on tour, so I'm doing some video work for him.
That is amazing. Now, you said JB is from Oklahoma as well? Okay. Now tell me a little bit about that, because you said you're doing a documentary. Is that correct? You're touring?
Yes. Well, I'm doing a documentary on JB. He's a kid, well, he's a kid from Oklahoma City, and he's a Grammy Award winning rapper. He's done so many things in the community. He's not just a rapper, but he's a father, he's an activist, he's a performer, he does all of this work. And he does Juneteenth on the Heat, for Juneteenth. So anyway, I'm doing a documentary for him because I thought I needed a story to tell because I'm a creative, and I needed something to get this creative, what's what I'm looking for, this energy out. And I wanted a long form video, and so that's how I got.
That is amazing. And we're going to dial it back a little bit because, as I said, we were talking the other day and realized, recapping how long we've known one another. Can't believe it's been, that's so crazy to me because it seems like yesterday, but I'm like, wow, it definitely has been 10 years. And you have been doing your thing in the fashion industry long before we even connected. Can you share with us, because as I said, you are an educator, truly what I call a full Renaissance man, how did your journey begin and how did you get into photography and particularly fashion photography?
Okay, it started when Well, I'm a school teacher by profession. This is year 25 teaching for me. When I think about it like that, it makes me wonder, like, man, I've been doing this for a long time. With photography, it started out, I like building. I like handsome buildings. So I taking pictures of something like that. And I needed a challenge. So I went to fashion from there. So I did some fashion photo shoots, high key, low key. And then I wanted to get into, I need another challenge. So I got into runway. And I wanted to think, okay, I wanted to do New York Fashion Week. So I just kind of built a portfolio, did all that. And then so I got on to be the staff photographer for Kansas City Fashion Week, for Austin Fashion Week. So I've been doing that for about 10.
So you're saying for about 10 years, and then you went into sports, correct?
Sport. So I did, some high school, some college, and then I was like, I wanted to do something else. So that's when I got into the NBA. But the NBA is one of the things where you have to know people to get in, but in order to get in, you have to know people. It catch 22. So anyway, I found my way in there, and I was courtside to the NBA player.
And I love how you made it sound like that was just so easy, because that is huge. I mean, not everybody gets to sit courtside, one, let alone capturing and pictures. I mean, and your pictures are legendary because they're everywhere.
Yeah. I do recognize that is something, I've had a charm, not at the charm life, but I've been at the right place and at the right connections to where people can say, hey, vouch for me and say this guy's a good guy. He's also does good work.
And I really love that. And I love the fact that, and which is so cool. And it's so nice to be able to celebrate and say, and it's a good thing you've had a charm life. And talk about that a little bit, because I think people need to understand that opportunities are there and we can make them happen. And you definitely exemplify that and what it takes to do that. One, you talked about your work ethic. So how have you put yourself or positioned yourself to be in the right place and to be able to build those kind of relationships that open those kind of doors?
I was just having this conversation a few minutes ago that, people that made it, they usually tell you, oh, hard work, hard work, hard work. But that's not it all the time. Sometimes it's about the connection and being in the right place at the right time and knowing people. And you have to, when people are asking you, what do you do? Or how can you help them? You have to have self-investment because you can't just come to a person and say, hey, put me on, help me and all this. But you have to show them like, I'm invested in this too. I want to put some money behind this and help you help me. Or I want to give you some free images or help. If you want to promote me, I will promote you, kind of thing.
That is awesome. So it is it's a give and take.
Like we're doing now.
Right.
Know that 10 years ago when we met, that you would have a podcast and I would be this person that I am now. And then we have collaborated.
Exactly. And how you nurture those. And I think that, because I follow you and been following you for years and really love what you're doing. And one of the things that you said a little bit earlier that I want you to kind of expand upon, because one thing that I noticed about you and your work and listening to you, that you are a visual storyteller. And that's kind of the heart of who you are. And I love that when before you were even with your current client, you are always creating. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I consider myself like a storyteller. Here's an analogy that I use. As an advertiser or a person, we don't think about this. We don't need a car that goes 160 miles an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when's the last time you've gone over 80 miles an hour on the highway? But that's the story that we tell ourselves. We try to tell ourselves like, hey, I would love to have this car that goes 160 miles an hour with, 100 horsepower that we don't need.
Right.
But in 2025, humans like stories. Like nobody goes clothes shopping because we already have clothes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're going clothes shopping for a reason. It's because we're buying the story that we want. We want people to tell. So as a visual storyteller, I want to let the readers and the people watching know, like, hey, this is the story that I want from the client. Or if you want to tell yourself, hey, I am a strong, confident person, I show pictures of you being strong and confident.
Right.
If you want to invoke tears or crying, I make videos that pulls at the heartstrings.
That is awesome.
So it's telling a story.
And you've incorporated that, I would also say, in your images with how you capture even moments on the court. Because listening to you, I can see that, in some of your pictures, moments that you capture, what makes your photos stand out.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, that's one thing when you taking sports photos, the people want to know the story. They want to see what's happening in that picture, whether it's the joy of victory or the agony of defeat. What they're missing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the relationships, because, they say that camera, definitely is an eye and it gets right into the soul. So your ability to be able to capture those essence, does that have a lot to do with the amount of success that you have in your storytelling? Because your clients then have to trust you, because that, you can feel pretty exposed sometimes in front of that camera if you're not comfortable with it.
Right.
How do you create that?
Back to relationship.
Okay.
Making people feel at ease to let them know, like, hey, I'm not here to make you feel bad or make you look bad. I want to convey whatever feeling that you want. So I give them that calmness.
I love that. I love that, because having in my past, from like working in the past as a fashion model, my thing was really, I loved the runway, but the money was in print. But that was something that I always, getting comfortable with that camera, was all initially, you have to get over a lot of inhibitions and fears. And so when you say that, how important that is to have that right photographer to bring the best out of you, because not all of them give you that. It can be feel kind of cold from behind on the other side, when you're trying to project. So true about the importance of relationship building and how effective it is in anything we do in life, but certainly in navigating and really our career development, how far it takes us really is based a lot on the relationships we do build. But I'd like to ask you, technology is ruling, and as always, with drones and AI and, all the visual effects that are now in the marketplace, has that affected your business, or do you see that particularly affecting photographers and videographers in this space and people trying to do their own thing versus actually hiring professionals?
Where pictures look great, but there's cell phone. There are actually cell phone photographers. They will take a whole photo they get on their cell phone. But there's limitations. So when you honestly with the cell phone photographer, there's they can only do things in the daytime, or they can't do a lot of other things. But when you get people that want certain type of photos,
Okay. And I just, I wondered that because there's so many apps and photo edits and the Facetune. I mean,
they're out there. They're out there. But certain things they will pass. They will pass, and you can, because if you're just looking at it on your phone or on the internet, that's probably fine. But when you start getting into certain things, like I do print work, magazine, you want the billboard work where you want it blown up to blowing
right.
The cell phone isn't doing that.
Okay. Okay. And that's definitely true. Pixels and now you're stepping into a whole different realm. And I wonder, what advice would you give to a upcoming rising photographer or filmmaker, and particularly Black African American or people of color particularly in the fashion space?
I don't want to give the typical answer and say, wake up in the morning, go grind. I think my answer would be find a mentor, find someone that is where you're trying to go. Ask questions and basically just get with them and sit with them and ask them. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be all the time, or that someone have multiple connections. Talk, listen. How can I put this? Listen to old people.
Mm.
Because they have the stories and they have the experience. And there are some things that you may think, they don't understand because this is a different time, but their stories still translate to.
And absolutely not. And would you say that those were advantages that you took hold of, that the mentorships and getting in front and sitting beneath? Because that's something I certainly remember and growing up with, that, there were certain role models and leaders, and particularly in my community, but I see that not as evident lately. But would you find that there are resources, and to have so much resource supposedly available, was that easy for you to find those type of mentorships?
I have to seek it out. It didn't just come to me, but I have those type of things. But it's also, I have mentors that were normally my mentors. And then I had a few mentors that they didn't know that they was my mentor. I just followed them. I listened to them. If they had no idea who I was, or they had who I was, or you find people that you admire and you tell yourself, I want to be like that, or I want to get to their level. I would just listen to them. You have to listen and go to the things that they go to. Just ask them, kind of on a side note, like, hey, how did you do this? I'm interested.
Right. And again, so, being very intentional, that's one thing that I've heard you say several times, is in terms of that I hope people really capture, is that, you were very intentional and you took the steps. You would, you didn't wait for things to come to you. You would go after it. You would make those calls. You would go to those spaces and places, and that reach out.
You go to the spaces. You can't just sit at home like for something to just happen to you. It takes a really, a really weak person when you realize that you don't have something. So you realize what you need outside, but you won't go outside to get it.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's well.
If you need it and it's right there, go get it. But you realize that you need it, but you're not going to go get it.
Right.
Wishful thinking doesn't help anything.
That right there is a whole word. That's real. That is so real that it really is action. As the scripture says, faith without works, and its action is dead. Yeah, that says it all. Well, unfortunately, we're almost at a point that coming to the end of the podcast, but I do want to ask you, tell us what's next, upcoming projects or things you have happening, and most importantly, how can people contact you if they're wanting to work with you?
I guess right now I'm just working on this documentary for JD, but I'm open for other projects. If somebody's looking for doing something, the summer's coming. I don't really have anything on my plate, but that doesn't mean that I'm not turning things down. But you can follow me on my website. It's torreypurvey.com. I am Torrey Purvey on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, website.
That is fantastic. And I will also list his information on Luxury and Black's website. If you didn't write that down, you'll be able to link and go directly there Torrey Purvey is definitely one that if you have not had the opportunity to work with or follow his work, absolutely amazing. And it will be...
And before we get out of here, I want to say Montre Johnson Tisdale.
My little nephew, yes.
With him,
Yes, he is. I am too, and so excited and proud of him. And I understand he just announced several stellars, and so he is definitely one that epitomizes, and I would say, and utilizes a lot of tools and walks that you have, because he waits for nothing to come to him. When I say he is a go-get, he is that guy. He is that person. Well, I love that. Well, shout out to Montre. Love you, nephew. Keep doing what you do. Torrey, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. I know you're on the road and again, doing what you do so well. We're definitely going to be in touch. We're going to keep following you and celebrating you. And I wish you safe travels.
Thank you very much. Next time in social media.
We're going to make that happen. And when I'm in Oklahoma City, we're going to do that. Thank you. Thank you. Ciao.